We are live. Welcome to Paid and Proven from Growth Hit. This is the show where we're skipping the theory and we're getting straight to what's actually happening and actually moving the needle for 7- and 8-figure founder-led brands right now. And today's episode is one you'll definitely want to stick around for. We're going to reveal the $30,000 creative we tested. The 30,000, by the way, was just on the creative. We're going to show you the numbers, what surprised us, what didn't, and what it means for your next campaign. We'll also be breaking down the single most important variable for ads right now and what's actually worth your time with AI versus just the hype, because we know AI is on everyone's minds. And we'll close out today for both of our guests to share something that you should steal this week. So you'll want to stick around to the end. Our panel today are two veteran experts. We have Dominique Houston out of Denver and Andre Ferreira. Andre, you say your name.
Ferreira.
Excellent. Out of Portugal. So both have seen it all. They've helped brands acquire their very first customer. They've also orchestrated and designed international expansions. So this is a great opportunity. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments wherever you're watching, and we'll try to get to them. But Dominique, Andre, are you ready to get into it?
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so our first segment today is AI wins and wipeouts.
Get ready for the wins and the epic wipeouts. AI wins and wipeouts. Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Let's go. We know everyone is talking about AI. I think there's a lot of noise, but there's also a lot of really awesome things happening. I see on our team, the brands we work with. So, would love for both of you to share what are some maybe wins or wipeouts that you've seen with AI in the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the biggest wins, and I see these across multiple brands that sometimes come to us on Growth It. It's way easier for a brand that's just starting right now to do a photo shoot, videos, without hiring models or videographers or photographers. Having that said, if you have money and you have a good photographer, that photo shoot will be very good and it's worth the investment. But if you are someone that's just starting, you want to put your product to the test, now is easier than ever to start a new product, launch a new brand, and very efficient with just a few dollars on a platform like in Gemini with Nano Banana or View 3. It's pretty easy to do a complete photo shoot for your product, starting with just a PNG, a white background photo, and then you can have any model that you want, doing videos, photos. You can have movement. There is a lot of examples out there, and we can. I think, Jordan, we already did a session where we share some of those examples. We can link it below as well if you guys want. But there are multiple applications for the AI generated assets. This is a win, a wipeout, I would say, and then passing to Dominique. The wipeout on this scenario is you need to turn your brain on, guys. What I see most is people randomly generating 100 assets and just pushing everything into Meta. Quantity is not bigger than quality. You have access to quantity, but you need to put your mind and do meaningful tests, and things that you are putting into that platform, they need to have a meaning and a why behind it. It's not just randomly like a zombie generating assets until you hit a jackpot. Of course, you need to test and you need to generate some, but you need to think about what you are generating, what are the problems you are trying to solve, what your product excels about, and try to show that on the assets that you generate. Yeah, over to you, Dominique.
Just kind of piggybacking off of that. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like some clarification. So if you had to say today, and I know you kind of said, okay, there's a lot of different models you can use. What right now is the one you're going to the most, and which one are maybe you avoiding specifically for creating photography for ads?
So avoiding definitely ChatGPT. It's not at the same place as other models at the moment. The one that my favorite is Nano Banana. It's Gemini, basically. If I'm generating video and image assets, the dollar that you can invest. Like I have a limited money for subscriptions. I would invest in the Gemini Pro. I think it's Pro Plus, whatever, where you get VO3, Nano Banana, and the Gemini Pro access. So you have already a very complete stack of tools. Gemini is pretty good in texting and solving, creating copy, etc. Nano Banana for me is the best creating images, or I would say is the best, but it's on top with some others. And VO3 is also pretty good generating videos. A small shout out to Kling. Kling is also very good if you need. They have the feature from first shot to last shot, so you basically generate two images. One, for example, me here, another one with a coffee, and it will make me move to the kitchen, grab a coffee, and come back from just those two shots. So that feature, Kling has some cool applications, but overall, VO3 for me, I think it's the best one up there at the moment for videos.
Awesome. Thank you for the specifics, because I know people always want to know, okay, I'm seeing a lot of advice out there, but what website do I actually go to and use?
Yeah. I'll give my take on it now. I think an AI win and an AI just a failure. I think the win is just kind of Claude coming out of seemingly nowhere, but if you know, you know. Claude has been around, but it's definitely up the ante a lot. And I think the failure is ChatGPT. Just they dropped the ball last year and into this year. And so it's kind of just like a forgotten thing. I think we still kind of use it some ways, but I think Gemini has caught up so much, and so has Claude, that I just find myself relying on them a little bit more and trusting them a lot more than ChatGPT. And I think another just win, like from the agency perspective with some of our clients, is just the ability to actually have ad creative now. We had some clients where 2 years ago, this would not be possible. Even with ChatGPT and its surge to popularity, it just was really kind of gimmicky. And in a way now, it's almost as if the AI generative content is on par with stock photography, like actual stock photography and stock videos. So we've used a combination of AI assets combined with stock photography and video to really tell the story for some of our clients and actually maintain pretty decent performance almost a year now. So it's a sight to see, because I never thought that this would be possible in the way that it is and actually continuously sell. It wasn't just like kind of throwing all of this on its head, but there is the AI slop that does sell. I mean, it's the kind of like impulse buys and all of that stuff with the like random robotic dogs and stuff that is just like cute and like cheap price points. But if you're trying to use AI for stuff that has a higher price point and is more tangible in terms of like a clothing item or something like that, where you really want to understand the texture and the fabric and that kind of stuff, it has gotten so much better. But I think you definitely need to have a very strong strategy, and you need to approach it like you would approach anything else, a photo shoot, a marketing campaign from its inception. It's an additional tool now that allows you to move a little bit faster, but you could still move too fast and break things and it not produce the results that you would anticipate. But I think there's also AI blindness that some folks have, some folks don't. I think because we have so much exposure, we have more discernment and kind of can tell. But I think it also just our culture is now doubting everything across just all internet culture, because it's like, is this AI generated or is this real? So I think that plays to our advantage more than it is a disadvantage.
Yeah, I get stuff wrong all the time, I have to admit. You take those quizzes, which is AI. There's certain things that, I can pick out, but sometimes oof.
Yeah. The hyper realism of it all is just really.
Yeah.
I think the problem is now sometimes, oh my God, this is AI and it isn't. So
yes,
you are already
Yeah.
overthinking stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, it's when that happens, it's already very, very close to the reality. So
it's something our brains didn't have to worry about even a few years ago. So it's like a completely different thing that we have to get used to, and we'll see where we'll be at the end of this decade.
Yeah. Somewhere different. I love what you're saying though. It definitely has replaced the need for stock photography and we can customize it a lot more. It's not necessarily doing exactly what, and this came up on one of the team calls this week with Sarah, one of our design leads, talking about how on a photo shoot, there's a creative director who's curating all of the details and minutia of what goes into the photo shoot that really create the brand's look and feel. But when we get into our $30,000 ad experiment results, I think that will be very interesting to kind of add on to this conversation and talk about there is a spectrum. On one side, we have maybe really high cost production, and on the other end, we have total AI slop that isn't even trying to look polished. And I think in general, the brands that we're seeing really win are using everything's strengths together.
Mhm.
And
For
Audrey,
sure.
a really interesting Reddit thread recently that got into this.
Yeah, the guy was basically testing ads made by a human with the same budget. So you give a budget for the work, etc., that you will invest in same budget. Ads made by a human and ads made by AI. Of course, AI could do 10x the amount of ads that you could. So, in a short summary, and me and Jordan, we are tagging along on that Reddit
Yeah.
thread already,
And
trying to see.
Pixar didn't happen. I'm a little suspicious, but
Yeah. So what the guy found so far is AI doing all the ads is more cost efficient. So the ROAS is higher overall. The humans have the best ad. The ad that so the top one ad is human made and it's a human, but overall the account with all the AI assets it's cost efficient. So as a higher ROAS, it's cool too. And the takeaway here, I think it's a takeaway that we should never go all AI or all human now. We should harness the strength of both and try to have a bigger portfolio of ads. So testing a lot with AI, and when you find a winning concept, maybe try to redo it with humans to have the best version possible of that winning concept. That would be my
and
advice.
vice versa. Something he was doing was he was taking the top human concepts and feeding it back in
Yeah.
to the AI. So it goes in both directions. It was a pretty incredible scale, I think, required to start to see the AI only outperform. It really is a volume game. And I think for every brand, the reward cost ratio is going to be slightly different because you really do have to commit and I think be all in on that type of strategy to make it work. And you need the budget to do so. He was using quite a bit of AI
Yeah.
credits, and that may or may not be something that everybody wants to do. But if you're that solopreneur who wants to make things happen, it is totally possible now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And another question that happens in this type of cases is how uh, how is your expertise in dealing with AI? Because the guy seemed an expert already. So do you have experience with AI generating those assets? Because if you don't, probably it will go very bad in the first tries. So try it anyway. Don't get discouraged in
Yeah.
trying it, but have your expectations low because it has a learning curve. And as you test it and you learn the platforms, it gets better and better. It's not at the point that you just click in a button and it's done. What
Yeah.
it gives is multiple possibilities to do stuff that you couldn't do in the past from your office chair. Now you can, but yeah, you need to test, you need to train. It's not something that happens immediately.
Yeah, I see it as an extension of or a progression of technology. I don't think that it unlocks anything for folks that aren't already like tech savvy or curious through technology. It's not like you were saying, Andre, a one button press and then all of this happens. It's you have to have the desire to fail and fail fast and learn from it. So it's definitely opened up possibilities, but you still need that general knowledge or that foundational kind of idea before you go and start generating stuff, because it's easier for us because we know what rabbit holes to avoid, but by the nature of the like chat agents, they're going to make some recommendations that maybe you shouldn't take. And I think without the prior knowledge, you could fall down a very slippery slope of just prompting it and going with what it prompts and not really having the results that you could have had if you had some discernment, or even professionals like us to interface with and kind of get a vibe check, if you will, if this actually makes sense, because it still can hallucinate and will hallucinate. And depending on the input you give, you could make it say and do things that you think sound good, but your customer base may be just completely turned off by it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially on ad structure, on account structure in this
Yeah.
case, in Meta and Google,
And even
it can-
performance evaluation, because the AI you could feed it all your data and then it could tell you to do the absolute wrong thing because you aren't really, there's just so many possibilities, so many variables. So
That is my biggest fear right now, is the business owner who is looking for those levers to pull to get to the next level, because I've just seen some garbage analysis that if you did what it tells you to do, it is an absolute waste of money that could take months to get the algorithm to turn around and unfixate off of the data it trained on. It is quite terrifying to make money allocation decisions from the outputs on here. But similar to you, Dominique, one of my big wins this week with AI was being able to compile a bunch of data, visualize it in a really clean way, look at some year over year analysis way faster than it used to be possible, because unfortunately, the Meta ad platforms and Google ad platforms are not good at building reports. It is amazing how difficult it can be in there, even as someone who's been doing it almost a decade. And it shouldn't be that way, but it is. So being able to accelerate the data compilation, amazing, but definitely be weary of the specific line by line analysis and just think it through, talk it through, ask
A
people
cool tip for-
questions.
Yeah, a cool tip for people that are using Meta at the moment. So Meta, it was this week, they rolled out the Manus AI, directly integrated with your ad account. You just need to turn it on your business settings. So yeah, it's a pretty cool tool for you to try to interface with an AI that has direct connection to your data. Be careful with Cloud Cowork, by the way. A lot of accounts got banned because they use the API.
Yes, we are like so hawkish about losing our ad accounts, because everyone here, that's how we pay the bills.
Yeah.
Is running ad accounts, and the platforms do not want you to have duplicate accounts. For example, they have my driver's license and all sorts of crazy information that I've had to submit over the years. And, if you have bot-like behavior, sometimes they'll kick you out as a user. If you use VPNs in the wrong way, you can get flagged because they don't want bots taking over.
Yeah. And people, it was a problem for the platform. I was reading about it. People got crazy. So now you have an AI. Now you want to test 1,000 ads, and you are jamming that API for Meta. It's getting loads and loads of requests that shouldn't be possible for one single person to be doing at the same time. Imagine this scaling to millions of people at the same time. And they said it's enough. There is no API for you guys with Cloud. Having that said, I still use Cloud Cowork on the accounts. We can use it to browse the website, gather some data, but be careful with the API, and always be careful when you are running, especially for small businesses, that sometimes Meta, Google, TikTok are the main sources of revenue to acquire clients. Be careful testing those AI platforms right from the start, because you get your account banned and you are screwed. Your revenue has a massive dip. Because you were overexcited in testing something. Always test new tools, but be careful. Read about security. Try to understand how you can protect yourself before jumping and going all in on the platform.
It's kind of like using a new makeup product or sunscreen or something. Like, they're always like, do a patch test. Don't just
Exactly. Yeah.
slather
Don't
your
just
whole
dive
business.
all the way in.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you guys sharing your perspectives. I feel like you both are very forward thinking about AI, but also very aware of the risk factors, the security factors that are involved. And oof, it's the wild west out there. We don't want to get left behind, but you also don't want to burn down the building in the process.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think this kind of transitions into starting to talk about our big reveal. We've been teasing, we spent $30,000 on an ad. So why don't we kind of talk about what that actually means, what it was, what the results are. And then I think that's going to set up a great conversation about what lever matters the most. What is the big takeaway from this experiment?
Yeah. Allow me to share my screen.
Yeah.
And I will show you guys. Oh, great. So, just to give some context to the people that are seeing us. So, Neat is our brand. We acquired this brand, and we are the ones that manage the account as well. So, we were doing, and this will jump in another topic, but we'll first look at this. We were doing an offer test inside our own website. It was basically a buy one, get one for free. And this was the banner that we created for it. Yes, I know it's ugly. Doesn't match well with the brand, but you will see and you will be amazed in a while about it. So we had this, and the team, we were talking with our CEO, Jim, and we were discussing, okay, now we need ads for this. As you can see, our account, we run multiple markets. We have our evergreen campaigns that are the money maker on the account. And then we have some campaigns that we use to launch special offers like this. Let's just look at the USA one because it has more data inside. So, and I'm already spoiling stuff. So looking at this, our founder had the idea, okay, let's do a very high production. A video, we never did it on it, so let's do a video, a television-ready video, something that you could pass on television, that is as a creative director, as actors, as a story, as a lot going on. And let's use that as an ad. So this was experiment one.
The opposite of, hey, let's just tag in Vitor, who is awesome, who's running fast with the AI tools. This is the exact opposite approach.
Exactly. But like we always say, you need to test. You need to put yourself out there if you have the money. So if you don't have the money and okay, I need to make money this month, don't do this. But if you have the money to test, allow yourself, because sometimes it works. Others, it doesn't. It's life. The game of running ads is like this. You need to test stuff all the time. So we basically run this ad. I will show you very briefly, so we don't need to sit and go through it. But as you can see, something like this. It then has the offer in the middle, like 20-second mark. Talks about a lot of stuff. It shows, it's like before and afters, comparisons, reviews. It has everything that works on ads. It's inside this video. Usually see creators talking about the shirts, everything. So let me say, the video is pretty good. I like the video. The video is good. And the video, don't get me wrong, the video was doing well. We launched the first week, video was doing well, as you can see in the last 30 days. Our target CPA is around $40, so the best ad was still below the target, and the ad was
what's the CPA typically, to give us more context? You said 40 is the target, but
yeah, it goes around 30, 35. I can show you ROAS as well, because sometimes it's more helpful. So as you can see, the overall campaign with our target ROAS usually is 2. Overall campaign was around 2.48, because ROAS and CPA, it depends a lot on the spend. If you increase the spend a lot, the CPA will go higher, the ROAS will go lower. So we needed to have a fixed place in time and spend to tell you. But in this case, usually it goes around 2. The best ad inside is the one with most volume at 2.85 ROAS, which was pretty good. Then we were discussing on one of our ad calls with the team, And one of our consultants, Craig, gave the idea, why don't we test something different? Just images to see how they do. Let's go. Let's test it. Then me and Vitor, in like a few hours in a Friday afternoon, we came up with very quick images. This was something, it was not high production that we did. It
Yeah,
was like,
not
okay,
not
let's
just an image. Craig was like, "Why don't we just try the pop-up that we have on the website?" Which
exactly.
is so simple, but really never comes up in a conversation. So I love that this came out of this conversation.
Yeah, especially because Craig, and he's a genius, by the way, in a lot of stuff. And he was telling us, okay, let's try this pop-up. And I took that, okay, let's do it. He wanted to give, let's remove the yellow stuff. No, we just went with it. Let's do the pop-up.
Yeah, I
don't
remember
care.
after he was like, "I thought you were gonna make it prettier," and you're like,
No,
"No,
just
we're
the
just
pop.
gonna test and run."
Test and run. So why not? So it's there, it's made already. Let's use it. Why not? So as you can see, let me show you the campaign. So overall takeaway, last 30 days, the images. So we spent 30K on this video that you see here in multiple formats, hooks, etc. But we spent 30K overall. And then these images on a Friday afternoon made by two people.
It's
Vitor, our
basically
designer,
a
and
modified
myself.
screenshot, not to undermine. There
Yeah.
was some effort that was put in to make sure it could go on the
Of course,
platform.
and
but,
and
like,
experience. So we have a lot of experience over the years. Me and him, we are running ads for over 10 years now, so it's a lot. We have a lot of experience, so it's already compounding interest on that. But it was not high effort. It was, I would say, moderate effort. As you can see, the images are completely destroying the video, the Sweat Monster video. And in the last 7 days, the video doesn't exist anymore. As you can see, it doesn't
ugh,
even spend. Jim was telling us the other day, oh my God, I'm very scared to do this test. And his worst fear is happening. So
yeah,
the images are completely destroying the video in terms of performance. So now let's
wow.
look at, hey guys, what are those famous images that you guys did? Let us have a peek. So last 30 days to have more data. And this is always evolving. As you can see, we did a lot of images. 10 basically. More like apparel design stuff. So well designed, well put together. Things like this, more funny. So the guy has the mug, it's like a zero, and now it's $0 because you get one for free.
Maybe even a slight Illuminati nod.
Yeah, exactly. You have like a print screen taken directly from the video, illustrating what's happening. Let me just give a zoom so you guys can see. So, okay, but now let's look at the top 3 best performers. And spoiler alert. So these, I will show you this one as well because it's important. This is just a pop-up. Straight from the website, we just took it and ran with it. The pop-up, 6 sales, $26. Still pretty good, still better than the video, guys. Now let's look at the third one. Third one, very creative approach, funny, engaging, a cool photo. So this is a real model. It's not one of those AI models. But yeah, very cool photo, engaging.
I would have
it
guessed,
matches.
though, honestly, that this was an AI image. Sadly.
I would have thought so too.
Yeah, but it's not. The guy is real. Okay, now our model again, but in a different setting. Still doing pretty well. And now the best ad, the one that's carrying this campaign and carrying the account. The one and only. The pop-up, but with a small tweak. Let's remove those buttons because Meta usually don't like buttons in
Yeah.
the images. And let's add like a knit against other shirts. But same headline, same copy. Everything is the same. Even the yellow stuff around it is still there. And as you can see, this is the best ad. I can tell you something. If you were, and this is where when we run performance accounts for Meta, TikTok, Google not so much because it's more text, but it has some display and some design elements as well. But especially for Meta, when we run ads, they operate in a different world than your normal brand space, you know. This is not your Instagram profile. This is not an article on a magazine. This is something that will appear. You either pause the scroll and click, or you not. You keep scrolling and you never see it again, probably. Or sometimes you see it again, trying to pass you a message. But this is not a static asset that is shown to your clients all the time. So we have the luxury for it to be ugly, and we can run with it as long as it works. And this was the case. And this was a very good takeaway for everyone on the team to remind us: first, test everything, even if you don't like it. Second, ugly ads, sometimes they are the best. And I will connect to the next topic, but we can spend some time on this for questions. This ad is one of the best because it's offer led. The offer is leading the ad. There is no fluffy stuff. I don't take 30 seconds to explain you why this brand is the best brand in the world. I just show you what you can get from pausing the scroll and clicking on this link right now. And this is very powerful, especially on new accounts. And old accounts alike, because our account is pretty old already, but this is very, very powerful. But I will pause here, Dominic, Jordan, and people in the chat, if you have any questions that you want to be answered.
I don't have any questions. I'm not surprised.
I know you're not.
This is from our ugly ad session. I'm like, this is just further backing up the points that we've made number of times before. So it's just, I think the biggest takeaway that anybody could have from this is just be willing to test any and everything. The more pixel perfection, the more wasted time and money, honestly. Like Andre said, I think you said it the best. Like, this operates in a space where they will see it, they will need to act right away, and then after that, they won't see it again. You know, they may see it a couple of times, and if we have a good ad portfolio, they're seeing multiple things across those different ads. So it's what can you do to really get them to stop and pay attention outside of like rage baiting? It's the offer.
Yeah. And we need to divide this, and this is more about marketing. There is a huge confusion. Our ads, they are not selling well. The ads don't sell. The ads gather attention and transform that attention into a click. What will sell is your website. Your website needs to be optimized for selling. It needs to be a selling machine. And that will affect your email, SMS, ads, everything that's trying to acquire traffic there. It will affect everything in a positive way if you have a good conversion rate. That's why CRO is so important.
Yep. And the ugliest website is the most successful, Amazon. Like, there's a lot of information. It's very text heavy, but it's easy to navigate, and folks have gotten used to it over time. But I think having an optimized website looks different for everybody. But just, there's so many best practices that a lot of websites don't even apply because I feel like a lot of founders and a lot of folks just build for themselves instead of listening to their audience. And yeah, not only is it the offer to get their attention, it's how can you disarm and empower and educate your potential consumer throughout your website and through your email flows. And I don't know, I think some clients can get caught up in the organic social kind of realm. And if you are able to build a brand through your organic presence on social media, that's great. But focusing on like social media is not as effective as focusing on really strong ads and a strong website.
Yeah.
And I would say a very good exercise that if you are a founder, marketing, operative, director, media buyer, whatever, I always do this at least once a week. I go into Reels and I allow myself to keep scrolling for 30 minutes. But I'm not just like with my mind disconnected and scrolling. I'm there scrolling and thinking, when I feel like I'm stopping, let me pay attention why. And I just keep scrolling. And when I stop, I start analyzing that ad or that organic video. Why did I felt the urge to stop? And this will help you understand what are the type of ads that work. Nowadays in Instagram Reels, for example, every 3 posts, it's one ad. Every 3. You go into your Instagram reels right now. I don't know if in the US it's different. In Portugal, at least it's that way. So go into your Instagram reels right now, scroll 3 times, and you will see an ad. Sometimes you see 2 ads in a row. So they are getting very aggressive, and that means that you are competing with a lot of brands. This is a very big blue sea, but there are a lot of boats on the sea. We are not the only ones trying to advertising and gathering that attention. So we are competing with other people, and we need to outsmart them. And we need to use those psychological triggers to try to make people stop, especially in this uh, small attention span age. So no one has time nowadays. No one wants to hear you talk about your brand for 30 seconds. You have 3 seconds to convince me to stop right now or not. Then, after you convince me to stop on those 3 seconds, you have like 5 seconds to convince me to click that link, and then it's gone. And you can clearly see when you run videos, it starts to drop a lot as you go into the 30-second, 1 minute mark. No one sees the end by that time. You either are sold and you click, or you just keep scrolling.
To play devil's advocate a little bit, only going after the click with zero regard of, are you fulfilling the promise of what the engagement was post click? That matters so much. For example, if you can be very clickbaity, but if the experience they're having on the other side of that click is nothing like what got them to click in the first place, that's a problem. So you can't just bait and hook people, but you do have to really accept, unfortunately, I always say, people do not have their sophisticated hats on. People really are using the emotional brain that is firing way faster than the logical aspects of the brain. And they are making a federal decision whether they're going to keep swiping or they're even going to give you an extra couple of seconds. But that doesn't mean, it depends too on your average order value. Are you a luxury or premium brand versus are you like more of, I don't want to call any brand disposable, but when you think about just impulse purchases that are going to have low consequences to the individual, you can get away, I think, with more hacky stuff sometimes in that environment. You see a lot of that on TikTok. You need to be mindful of that, and you need to be mindful that you're not putting a sour taste in people's mouth about who you are and what you do. But no one owes you attention when they're in their feed, and that is the harsh reality. Just because you paid for an ad does not mean anyone is obligated to care.
I would say that is by like an inverted pyramid.
Yeah,
I would say by higher of priority. So product market fit first.
For sure.
Answering the question, is someone willing to pay to have that problem solved? Are people willing to pay for this product that solves this problem? Sometimes they are willing to pay at a lower price than you are trying to sell. Sometimes they are willing to pay at a higher price that you are trying to sell as well. It depends. But answering that question first and knowing what is the price that are people willing to pay to solve this problem, if they are willing at all. So let's say yes, and the price is $100. Now let's go to the offer. How do I put this in the market in a way that's appealing to people?
It gets people excited to try us. That gets people excited to start a relationship with us. So in this example, want a free shirt. You could also frame it as buy one, get one free. We could have also marketed it as 50% off. There's also many ways that you can package that have different psychological impacts. You can repackage the exact same core offering, but the offer itself is different. It impacts people differently. This is slightly on a different tangent, Andre, but I've shared the example before. There's a protein powder I love, and the formulator, when he first created it, he designed it to be for neurological health, for brain health, to have really positive impacts on the brain. Guess what? People don't care. Do you know what people do care about? Having healthy, glowy skin. And the same product does that as well. It's the exact same formulation, but that is what it's labeled as. And it is a huge success. It's one of their top selling products that they've ever launched in the history of their company. And now is a core part of their revenue. Same product, totally different offer, Totally
Yeah.
different set of things that are appealing to people.
Exactly. Yeah. And that part of the offer can impact the one above, because a different offer
Absolutely.
can make you sell by a higher price or even lower. It depends on what
Absolutely.
you are trying to offer.
And it
But
could
yeah,
even be a feedback
that's
loop
good.
into the product itself. A really big problem I think all of us have seen is an assumption that the product as is good enough for the market and that the market
Yep.
even wants it. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people with great ideas, and this isn't to poo-poo them or like minimize them. There's a lot of really awesome innovation happening. And yet, if other people don't already care, you are selling a product to yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I
that
mean,
could be
think about
really tough.
the huge corporations, the Procter and Gambles, and all of the products they launch yearly that lasts maybe a season, maybe a year. Like it just because you have an idea doesn't mean your idea is what the market is looking for. And even if you have a substantial financial backing, some ideas still can't be proven to the market because there just is no fit, even if you spend tens of millions of dollars as those big brands do. So it's really, 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 really all about that offer and leading with that, because without it, it's just you have a product and everybody has a product. Everybody has something that they can buy, and there's oftentimes something that's comparable. So how are you going to grab their attention? And sometimes that's a longer play than just a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years it may take for you to really fully understand your customer and really refine your product so that it fits the market.
Yeah. Definitely, for sure. And this is like product market fit, offer, landing page optimization. That page is the bread and butter of your brand. If you are a D2C brand, or you are heavily on the digital world, you need to have that page nailed down, because all the traffic is coming there, and it needs to sell. Every dollar that we spend in traffic, it needs to be it needs to be an easy sell on the page. And lastly, here I will put ads and other acquisition traffic, but ads here. Okay, now that we nailed down these three, let's acquire traffic and let's give you some money and scale that account. Because without those above, it's very, very difficult, and you will get disappointed as you scale the account. So always by priority, nail your product market fit with price and everything, nail your offer, nail your landing page, and then let's turn the volume on ads. And when you have all of that, even an ugly ad like this one is printing money for you. So
That's right. That's so true.
yeah.
Well, Dominique, I'll give you the last word on offers and this experiment. I mean, I guess to sum real quick, we saw that having this particular offer did improve our cost per acquisition dramatically. And we saw multiple ways it was executed. We had the $30,000 version of the offer presentation, we had the quick and dirty version of it. And what we saw is the offer did move the needle. And at the end of the day, it didn't take fancy production value to communicate it well, or at least good enough to translate into higher sales.
Yeah.
Dominique, what else should we know about offers? What did we miss?
I don't think we missed anything. I think the
Yeah.
last point I made, it's just really making sure that, well, I think there's one thing. An offer doesn't mean a race to the bottom for
Ooh.
how the largest discount that you can provide them, something that is cutting into your profitability or your bottom line. I think when people hear offer, they think of percentage off or discount. Offer looks like a lot of different things. It can be a percentage discount. It can be, if let's say you're a SaaS client, it could be something that's downloadable or that kind of gets them in the funnel, and just an example or a demo. An offer looks totally different, but you need to find something totally different for different folks, but you need to find something that's compelling. And I think about like, what would get you to activate for your own thing that you're selling, and be honest. Don't, just because it's your idea doesn't mean it's a good idea. And, use your local community. You've got people that you can reach out to more than likely that will give you a fair and honest opinion on if they would be interested in whatever you're selling. So use that.
And the best way, don't try to take money from them, but never accept feedback that people get it for free. They need
Yep.
to be willing to pay for it.
Exactly.
That is the real feedback. If the
Oof.
person, let's say my brother, it's next to me and I have an ad, and oh my God, I love this ad. If he's willing to pay $20 for that ad, and no, take the money, I want that ad. Okay, that is a great feedback. That has value for him. If it's getting for free, everyone wants stuff for free, so he will
Yeah.
take everything for free. So
Mhm.
that doesn't count. I always say when you are launching a brand, try to sell your first 10 to 30 products without ads. Try to push that product out there. Social media, people that you
Yeah.
know. Go to, let's say you are selling wedding dresses, and you go to the guy that the photographer, and you leave there your business card to try to acquire some people. So activate your local network, all of it, and try to sell some. If it's very easy for you to sell some, you are seeing that you have a good product market fit because the business comes naturally to you. If
Mm.
it's hard, you need to revisit that product
Mhm.
market fit, adjust price, offers, etc.
Yep. The grassroots start outside, not online. I know we're in digital marketing, but the easiest way to prove a concept is to get out in the field, out in the real world, and talk to real people and try to sell it in real life before you even invest a single dollar on a website. Like, obviously, you should have your branding and all of that kind of stuff, but if you're really trying to put together a budget for digital ads, you should definitely have some experience with selling the product, whether that's at a convention or farmers
Yeah.
market or whatever your industry kind of gathering communal place. That is where you should start always.
Stealing a line that Jordan uses a lot, and when you are trying to sell stuff online on Meta ads, Google, it's like you turn a button that will show you everything good but everything bad. If your business is not ready for that traffic, it will get exponentially crushed by everyone that's coming and not getting that promise fulfilled. If you have everything ready, you will start scaling your brand. Ads are done for that, to scale, to be a force to get things exponentially further or backward.
Mhm.
It depends on how ready you are for ads.
Yeah. Really, I
Yeah.
stole that from Charlie.
Yeah.
It's an amplifier, it's a spotlight. And ooh, shining that spotlight on your business, investing in ads, it's going to show you the ugly parts of your funnel, of your product, what people do not like. It's going to hurt because you're going to be spending money and losing it. On the flip side, and people might be angry in the worst case scenario. That doesn't happen often, but if you don't have your acts together and you're sending people half-baked stuff, they don't like it. On the flip side, if your product is great, if people love it, if it really solves a need for people, whether that's an aspirational need or a really functional need, it could be either, and it's easy to check out, it's going to do wonderfully. It's putting the star on the stage and putting the spotlight on them.
Yeah.
But it goes both ways.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for walking us through the real data. I think that's so valuable for people so they can see what it actually looks like in an ad platform, what numbers we're looking at. Really, the goal here is to ditch the theory. As much as I love theory, we're kind of leaving that at the side for the show and getting into the real raw numbers of what's working. Really, to close, we've got our final segment.
Still this. Still this.
All right. What is one thing that founders today should apply that you guys are doing?
I would say steal our ugly ads. Go for it. If you don't have an ugly ad already, just put something like this with just an headline and offer and try it for yourself to see if it works.
I think that's a great way too to understand if the offer is any good. Because what
Yeah.
we're finding is if it's a compelling offer, you really can just put it in big bold text. And if it's more than 5 words, it's not a good offer, most likely, because it can't be communicated, at least for ads, right? It could be a good offer in other contexts. So I love that. It kind of just puts your feet to the fire to see, is it good or bad? And if it works, then okay, sure, invest in different iterations, different executions and implementations of it. And if you have pop-ups on your website, you can literally go screenshot your pop-up, maybe remove the little X's and stuff because the ad platforms don't like things that look like functional buttons. I think that's totally fair. But that is a quick and dirty way to get an ad experiment running right now. And you hopefully have thought about that offer that's in your email sign up.
No.
And if not, maybe that's a to-do.
Yeah, I would say this would be offer, lead with the offer. I think a lot of folks think that their product is what the offer is, and it's not. Like I said, a lot of products exist and there's a lot of people fighting for attention online, and you really need to find a way to grab their attention outside of just some creative. That won't close the deal. The creative won't close the deal or get their attention.
Yeah, I would give an example for people out there to really understand it. I was thinking about it. You have an ad. The same ad can be the cheapest ad on the market, the best protection against sun, the stylish ad, the ad that everyone wants to go to the summer parties. Those three, they are different offers. It's different ways that you position your ad on the market. And it needs to fulfill that. It needs to be looking good, to be the stylish ad and that's trendy. But yeah, these are three different offers, and people will react differently to all of those three offers.
So true. Don't get sunburned for 24 hours. That is an offer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just buy one, get one. It's what are people getting, and what's the juiciest way we can let them know that they're getting it in a risk reversal manner. Easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining today. Any closing words?
Nope.
We feel satisfied.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for Paid and Proven. We will be here next week. Next week, we'll be talking about the #1 tool that you must have on your computer in your browser if you're running ads. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Dominique and Andre. I will see y'all soon.
See y'all soon.
Thank you,
Bye,
Jordan.
guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.